about a woman who keeps playing perfect housewife.
Hey, where's our breakfast? You're not supposed to have favorites.
Kevin's my husband.
Babe, can you go see if my package is here yet?
Can't you do it?
I'm in the middle of something.
Then one day, she realizes what she wants.
Whoa, Miss Hercules over here. Is that blood? It doesn't mean you get to be moody. You already used that excuse once this month.
You got a special occasion you want to let Max for?
I am seeing an ex.
What I missed the last 15 years.
She wasted the life on this terrible marriage. The money's gone. Kevin drained the account.
You ever think about maybe trying to have just a little bit of fun?
You can get in trouble for that.
You're having trouble, you dick! What the hell, lady?
I'm not sorry. And she has this brilliant plan.
Good for you, honey.
Kevin and Allison, together forever.
I'm just so tired. The world revolves around him. And if it doesn't, he just blows it to hell. It has to stop.
Can't stop greatness.
I know how to make both our lives easier.
We are insane, but you're not alone.
Things were gonna change.
Mother F!
My God, just swear. F is so much worse.
Hello and welcome to the periodic table of awesome. It is Tuesday, the 14th of September, forever.
Again?
Yes.
Again. And
It could be any day. We don't know.
I've got a laugh track and I'm not even trying. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's something you'd say. Oh, God.
At
okay.
Dion, he's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Great.
I was really worried that there was going to be no laugh track whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is that? Anyway.
Every time I make a joke.
Hi, how are you guys going? Good?
Hey!
Yeah, introduce yourselves. Tell me who you are. I mean, our names are there for the people who can visually see us, but then hearing in the
I think the moment that each of the people walk into the scene, they should get a round of applause or a big laugh.
Oh, well, oh shit, hang on.
Hang on. Who's that at the door? Is that...
Oh, hang on, I'm gonna do a hey there! Oh, that was okay, that was a strange call.
It's our creepy neighbor Jill. It was Jill all along.
That's all right.
I do have like a demon nail manicure at the moment. It's just the ends are black.
Oh, just the tip, huh?
Yeah.
Peter, save Quinny, please.
No, you know what? I think given the genre, free for all on
right.
terrible jokes.
Yeah.
I will not roll my eyes.
As long as we all get a laugh.
Oh, Peter, it's just like you've been here before.
Yes, if Peter would get the cheer.
Absolutely. We're so happy that you could all join us. By the way, today's periodic table of awesome is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
You go.
Yes, you're it. Congratulations. Oh man, I love the fact. Can we keep this fucking thing around forever, please?
Yes, I do like
Which
the laugh
thing?
track.
Honestly, it's a little bit like I feel, you know, when I'm on stage, except with actual laughs.
Introduce yourself there, Quinny.
Oh yes, and I'm Quinny. Oh.
You just had that one lined up, didn't you, dear?
Yeah,
Couldn't do his waiting for that one.
I can't let the
Couldn't let
fans
pass.
down. I've actually got like I've got a whole like length. I can just leave this laugh track going, and it just pauses and laughs again, just like that. Just
Really?
keep going.
Oh,
Like, everything
God.
we're saying is hilarious.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Then it starts to really make. I mean, for a start, I can't hear it half the time.
I always put it. There you go.
I feel like I'm in the first 3 seasons of Red Dwarf, but nothing after that.
But oh no, that was that weird thing. Has anyone, like, speaking of canned laughter, we all understand canned laughter as a general concept, of course.
You mean to say that we don't have 100 people in the audience right now laughing at everything we say? This is hurting my very soul.
But has anyone like had that jarring nature of watching television without a laugh track, where it was innocuous and prevalent when you were watching it the first time, that you go back and see it again without a laugh track?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Red
Yeah.
Dwarf. Terrifying. Not funny at all, ever. But without a laugh track.
Yeah. The worst one I saw was, funnily enough, because I went on that Big Friend binge a while ago.
Yeah, Friends without the laugh track.
Like
It's just
Ross
like-
without a laugh track is a straight up fucking psycho.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a cartoon, Garfield without Garfield. Have you ever read that? That's deeply terrifying. So what's happened with they just put the same cartoons up, but they just remove all of Garfield's like speech bubbles, and it's just the descent of John going insane with a cat. Like the cat's just like he's just like, oh, I guess you shouldn't have eaten all that lasagna, and the cat's like. And he just moves on.
Okay, yeah, that is
sad. It's just kind of like, Garfield without Garfield is a trip, and it's great. Like someone just removing half a conversation and putting it back out there. It's like, well done, sir.
Yeah.
But also, bleak.
So it's all
Bleak
of
as
us
fuck.
in COVID, basically, just talking to inanimate objects
Yes.
or things that can't respond to us.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Screwdriver. Why would you even say a thing like that? Yes, I'll put you into somebody if I have to, but you know.
I mean, I know I said everything goes. I am getting ready to retract that.
Okay. Well, I mean, are you a scalpel or are you a screwdriver? I can't tell anymore. Can you? Oh.
Boundaries, Quinny. Boundaries.
No, I don't have any.
Well,
I like that Dion even went to go do a bit of this and then went, oh, I'm wearing my t-shirt.
I'm just surprised that you can't tell the difference between a screwdriver and a scalpel, like all good mechanic surgeons.
Oh, come on. Use your own laugh track, for fuck's sake. That was actually vaguely amusing.
That's it. And that's it.
Yep. just a polite.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what
I don't
are
know,
we
Jill,
talking
but you
about
could go
today?
fuck yourself. No. Oh, hang on. No, it's Kevin.
You can fuck yourself, and you can fuck yourself, and you can fuck yourself.
You eat shit. Eat shit.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Is Kevin the Karen of the thing? So if it was like, is it Karen can fuck herself, or is it Kevin can fuck herself? Have we got around to that?
I mean, it's definitely Kevin. Kevin is a fairly well-known stereotypical character that we have seen in many things. That does tend to be a male character.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I would say this is a firm Kevin on this one.
a firm. Although I like in an Australian context, the name Kevin has certain connotations, and I am deeply down for watching this show remade in Australia and just replacing it with Kevin Rudd. He just
I like Kevin.
I like 24/7 Kevin, but whatever.
no, but I mean,
Kevin 07.
I just kind of
No,
like,
he was 24/7 Kevin. Don't forget.
Oh.
I just kind of like the idea that there is just someone very quietly saying all the same things and being kind of normal, and it's just someone having a breakdown.
I would love a laugh track sitcom of like Kevin 07, like his whole campaign to becoming prime minister. Like,
Yep.
that would be cool.
I would love to see the funny little backroom bits between him and Julia Gillard, and the huge big thing at the end of this series where suddenly she turns around and she's the prime minister. What?
Yeah, I can't justify pressing a button for that one, Quinny.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, just like this sitcom, this podcast does not have a guaranteed laugh track after every scene, does it?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No.
What are we talking
No, it
about?
doesn't.
Yeah, I know that Jill said it. We said we're talking about, but I derailed.
Yeah,
you
I
there.
tried to get us back on
Tried
track.
to get it back on there.
Yeah.
Like, Peter, would you like to take it away? You're always wanting us to get on track.
Oh,
So
wow.
hostile.
I know.
I feel like
that bus.
us women of the sitcom
parked.
are being thrown under the bus.
I was going to
Not
say.
unlike poor Allison in this show.
It's a metaphor.
Oh.
So Kevin can fuck himself, or I'm sure perhaps in America it's just called Kevin can F himself. I'm not sure how they have self-titled that, although obviously in the show they have no problem with the swears. it is a really interesting genre play piece, which is what kind of got me. I don't know why I pressed play on it in the first place, to be honest. Probably where I saw Annie Murphy. I don't know, but
Yes.
I didn't watch a trailer. I just pressed play on this thing and let it start playing out. And I have to say, my least favorite genre of television of all time is American studio family
Camera sitcoms.
sitcoms. I cannot, like, Everybody Loves Raymond.
No, they don't.
King of the Hill, King
No,
of
he's
Queens. Sorry,
Not King.
Cannot stand the entire genre. So this was an interesting one for me because
You'd be telling me you didn't like Family Ties.
I'm okay. You know, wind it back to the 80s.
Well, okay, look,
I do mean the more recent ones that specifically have a bumbling, narcissistic
protagonist.
husband character and the long-suffering wife.
But what a weird transition for a sitcom in the sitcom world, where America kind of perfected the shitcom, with like the Honeymooners, and I Dream of Lucy, and I Love Lucy, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow,
No,
that was a mashup.
I Dream of Bewitched Lucy.
Yeah. But like, okay, there were these things where it was definitely the kind of bumbling, not so great male side of it, and women who were there because they did that specifically because women had time to sit at home and watch television, and they wanted to sell them soap. Like, okay, fair enough. But then in the 80s, it turned into not so much. The men were better, like slightly better. In some
feel
sitcoms,
like the
and then it
early
switched
60s
back to the homerish kind of like
60 sitcoms. It was a very like competent woman with a bumbling man who was sort of like the cutesy guy, the sidekick. Then when we do get into the 80s, it was more family orientated. So I think the men were a little bit more capable. But when we get into the 90s, that's when this weird stereotype of a incompetent man berating a wife and taking advantage of a wife became more popular.
And I feel like the audience has flipped because I feel like they're aimed at a male audience. Love my dad to death. He loves those shows.
Well, think back to like Married with Children, which was in that late 80s, early 90s period. That was the thing that was sort of seen to be the real cutting edgy kind of, they were all nasty, and it was kind of similar sort of time to The Simpsons. And it was this thing where in that one, the guy was he was dumb, yes, but he was probably he was the hero of that story.
It was weird power dynamic. I feel like it was mostly focused on, a man that was out earning an income and a stay-at-home wife. And so I think like that power dynamic also plays into the weird relationship dynamic too.
Yeah, it was just an interesting thing because like throughout the course of the last 50 odd years, there has been this change where for a while it's this and then it shifts to something else. And recently we've explored that beautifully through a Marvel series, namely WandaVision.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see something like this happening, obviously in parallel, because I'm guessing that these were made at a very similar time, that are both kind of looking at the format of TV and the structure of sitcom and stuff like that and going, okay, what does that mean? What are we actually saying with this? And I think that's what kind of hooked me, because I think I saw a trailer for it. I think it just popped up on Amazon or something like that. And like one of those pre-roll trailers that they do on Amazon. And I was like, oh, Annie Murphy. Okay. And I watched it and I was like, okay.
It's very close. Every time anyone says Annie Murphy, I'm like, Eddie Murphy. I'm like, Eddie Murphy's on TV again? Oh, great. It's like, no, Annie Murphy. Oh, okay.
Annie Murphy.
Yeah.
It does kind of make me feel like maybe the genre is finally coming to its natural end, though, because once you reach satire, that's kind of the natural evolution. When a genre has has done as much as it can do before it maybe needs to reboot and reimagine into something.
Sure, I'd really like to
different.
never see anything like Two and a Half Men or Big Bang Theory come out ever again and be the cultural touchstone upon which some people link themselves to.
Yeah,
Like
and
I mean,
their
Friends and
entire
Seinfeld.
personalities and lives.
Even stuff like Home Improvement that we used to watch as a family, and I loved
that
as a kid. And looking back on it, I'm like, oh, that was terrible.
No.
message.
Oh no. Yeah, oh
That
no.
was bad.
Oh no.
And I think what is interesting about this is that they are all about looking backwards on things and going, oh no, this is bad. Like through any kind of modern, vaguely awakened lens, that shit was nasty.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating that this is where we're at now. We're pulling apart our pop will eat itself.
Yeah.
So should I tell you what Kevin Can F Himself is about?
Would you like some music to go along with that, Quinny?
What's the deal? Kevin Can Fuck Himself follows the story of Allison McRoberts, a woman we all grew up believing we knew, the prototypical sitcom wife. She's beautiful and can take a joke, though she's usually the butt of them. And she's married to a guy who must have won some sort of marriage lottery because she looks the way she does and he's funny. But what happens when we follow Allison out of her husband's domain? When she finally wakes up to and revolts against the injustices in her life, Kevin Can Fuck Himself, breaks television conventions and blends multi-camera comedy with single-camera realism to make us ask, who and what the fuck have we been laughing at all of these years?
Yeah.
Hey!
Good timing. We hadn't planned that out. That was well done.
That was really good.
That was fucking great.
Very
work.
impressive.
Well done there, Quinny. Yeah. Pat on the back.
I couldn't even hear the music, so.
Well, everyone else can.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal with this show, and why are they mixing genres?
I mean, my take on it is that it's kind of like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, but instead of Shakespeare, it's studio sitcom, and instead of existentialism, it's misogyny.
Yeah. Wow.
That's basically how I'm
Fuck,
pitching
I
it to
love
people.
you. I think
Yes.
I love your brain.
Well, it's one of like my favorite plays. So once you kind of see that the show isn't about the studio sitcom, it's about what is going on behind the scenes in the character's life when they walk off stage of the studio sitcom. And that's when it kind of got a bit interesting for me, and also really fucking dark. Like it gets real dark real quick, which made it a tricky watch to stick with.
Yeah,
In these interesting times.
Look, it comes from AMC, and the production studio behind AMC. They've never done anything groundbreaking or interesting or known for dark stuff. Maybe that Breaking Bad thing, but I don't think many people watched it.
Well, that one with the zombies.
Yeah, never watched that.
Walking Dead and Breaking Bad. Nah, I don't think anyone heard of it.
What about The Wire?
Yeah.
You should watch Breaking Bad and The Wire.
Shit.
Actually, now I want to watch Shit's Creek. But look, this is a real interesting one because it so fundamentally jars the viewer. I think it's an intentional thing. You're watching this and it's like, oh, it's a sitcom. It's like, oh, this is not a sitcom. This is someone having like an existential breakdown. And the only way that they have is the coping mechanism of treating it like everything's funny.
Yeah, because that's the only way that you could possibly deal with somebody who's so completely fucked.
But then I like to
that
watch
you
it
have that
going.
take.
I like to watch it going, but this is all sitcoms are fucked. Like all sitcoms promote shitty dynamics between people. And to have that
dress it up as comedy.
Yeah, to have that reflected in the whole kind of thing is like, oh, this is just like the everyman comedy, shown that it's not like that, and the reality of people's situations is so much worse. And
okay, I want to cut back in on that, Jill, because
Yeah.
you say it's interesting that we have that take on it.
The take that she's using the idea of a sitcom life as her coping mechanism, where as I was watching the show as everything that revolves around Kevin is a la-di-da sitcom, because that's his interpretation of the world, is that he's living his life as a hapless man that is being taken care of by a perfect wife, and he can treat her like shit and get away with it because that's what's been ingrained in his upbringing from watching that kind of TV. And the actual reality is what we see with the one camera and Alison's perspective. Not that that's a coping mechanism for her.
Style change moves around with Kevin. It doesn't move around with Alison.
Absolutely.
So he brings the sitcom scenes. And it is that kind of, ultimately Kevin is a narcissistic sociopath. And in Kevin's world, the world completely revolves around him. So when Annie kind of walks off, Alison. When Alison kind of walks off that stage, walks off Kevin's stage, that's when the world kind of changes to her and she's in her reality. That's kind of how I read it.
Yeah, even when he leaves the room.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of fun thing. And
in fact, they're probably some of my most favorite parts of it are the moments that there are the quick shifts between his reality and hers. And I mean, I think that interpretation, like I think both interpretations are possible, but the fact that it does seem to follow Kevin probably indicates that that yours is right. But also I don't know that there is a right. I think there's like, it's a stylistic thing, but the moment that a door closes and you cut back, like sharp cut back to her in a dark, not particularly nice room with stark lighting, and it's like, oh wow. I fucking love those moments.
Is it interesting that it looks as though they're built two completely different but the same sets? Because
I'm pretty sure they have.
It's not just as easy as going from single camera to studio village,
No, there's lighting changes.
Yeah, multi-camera. So they literally must have had two sets where it's like
I've seen the sitcom set.
Yeah.
And it is very definitely traditional sitcom style, with the big lighting battens up above and, and very flat and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the stuff that they shoot in the Allison world, you can't actually do that. You'd pick up the lighting battens and everything. So I'm pretty sure you're right. There are two completely
shout out to
different
the script supervisors of this show. Like there's one unsung hero that you want to hear about. The person who's going to maintain continuity through things like, nope, she was wearing her hair slightly differently this way, or she needs a shittier version of this costume in the real world. All those kinds of things.
Yeah, and we need two houses that are both alike in dignity, but essentially completely different as well.
No laugh track for that one.
Fuck you. Dion can fuck himself. Hey, there you go. I said the name of the title. So,
Oh, goodness me. I mean, I've got to, I want to hold until the end to have a suggestion, but I have a suggestion for the second season.
Oh, okay.
Wait till there's spoilers, but remind me that I had one so that I can come back to it.
Sure.
Okay.
Did you watch to the end of the first season, Dion?
Yes.
Awesome. So
it was a hard slog, I've got to say, because they are not short episodes.
They are not short episodes. I have to admit, I really enjoyed the concept, but I did struggle to get through it. And I don't know if it's because I'm already in a pretty dark mood and I just wasn't feeling like the darkness of it. Or if the entire thing is really disconcerting, and it's supposed to be, but it doesn't make it something that you're kind of like running back to watch it.
No,
it's kind of unfortunate because it's worth watching, I think.
I consumed this in about 2 afternoons because I was just absolutely fascinated with the storytelling. And it's just not something we've ever seen before, to have that dichotomy of two genres like blended into one show. And it was such an amazing narration on like that weird American sitcom culture. I was absolutely fascinated.
They're not even blended. Like, I agree. Like, this thing is like we say that, there's two genres that are blended. They're not blended, and that's part of the whole charm of the series. It's like, oh no, this is a jarring example of fiction reality television. So we're going to present something that seems lighthearted and then cut to dark and annoying stuff, and you are going to feel uncomfortable for most of the watching. And that's a pretty bold statement in television.
I thought it was an interesting thing that they, like, because you are facing off two genres against each other, I can't help but kind of compare it a little bit to WandaVision, because it was the same thing of playing with its structure and playing with the genre and playing with format. And I found WandaVision interesting because they stuck to the 22-minute episode sort of length. And so even though they were shifting between those, it still stuck to that timing. Whereas this one is actually in the 42 to 44-minute drama style. So in that, you're actually going to get more of the drama than you are of the sitcom. And so there's always going to be a slight unbalance, like that you're not going to get. Sorry, I keep talking to your face down here when in fact the camera is up here. I'm a professional at this shit.
That's okay, Quinny, because what I wanted to say about that was, oh wait, I'm on the wrong camera. Is that better? Yeah. So, got to know where your eye lines are.
I know, but like I was talking intently to Jill and Peta, and they're down there.
I thought you practiced at this. This is just how you fuck people up on a Zoom meeting, where even though you know where the camera is, you just don't.
I make sure that my face is right under the camera because I just look at myself the whole time. Even when I'm talking right now, I'm staring into my own eyes because I'm just that vain.
That's beautiful, Jill.
I mean, I why would you not?
Oh. Sorry, throwing this out. It's the lighthearted comedy section. Now, anyone like to do these?
Where we fuck around with cameras. Yeah.
Where's my lighting?
So the other thing I found with this as well was that not only the episodes were kind of a bit longer and it was pretty dark, it's also the plot does get fairly involved, and it's not good for multi-screening. And so it's one that you've kind of got to watch. And again, if you're not really in the mood at the moment, given the times that we're experiencing, to sit and focus on something that is kind of a little bit dark and a bit heavy. It's not like you can kind of, have a bit of Instagram going on the side, because you'll lose, you won't know where it's going. You'll have to rewind. I had to rewind an episode multiple times because I'm up to the same bit and I don't know why this is happening still. Take it back. So I don't know if that's just because, again, my mood, or just it wasn't holding my attention perhaps as much as it might in another time. It's just, we're struggling, guys. Everything is a struggle at the moment.
Yeah. And a show that is, really not shying away from darker themes and a fairly bleak outlook on things. Because, even though there is comedy in it, Alison's journey is, it's probably got more in common with Requiem for a Dream than it does with Everybody Loves Raymond.
Well, I'm waiting to see if it ends up the same way.
But I tell you what, that Everybody Loves Raymond is such a good comparison, because I really feel for Deborah in that show, because Raymond is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She has to deal with so much, like raising 3 kids and dealing with her man-child of a fucking husband, plus the in-laws that live across the street. And I'm like, yes, now it is time to see it all from the woman's perspective and how she has to deal with this and her daily struggles and what gives her power to just make it to another day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I kept watching it so much.
You were
just like, I'm on board for Alison. I'm like, yes, girl. Like, let's see how you're going to murder this piece of shit.
It's also a frighteningly accurate portrayal of an abusive relationship in action as well. And almost to the point where I would maybe issue a little bit of a trigger warning to people who have been in those kinds of experiences, because what really kind of comes into play very, very early on is how abusive and manipulative Kevin is.
No physical abuse, but all mental and emotional.
And I was
emotional
say,
abuse. It's coercive control, which is very much in the news at the moment because they're actually trying to make it a little less legal than it is at the moment. But you know, elements like financially controlling her, or you know, it comes out quite early on that he just does little things to make sure that she doesn't get this job that she really wanted, and so she has to stay at home and do the job that he wants her to do. And but the funny thing is, it's such a perfect comparison because they're all those kind of perfect sitcom husband things. Oh, he stopped her from getting the job because he wanted her to work at the liquor store. And then when you just take it out of that sitcom context that we're so used to, you're like, oh yeah, that's really fucking real and abusive. Like that's not funny behavior.
And that typical sense of the way that he frames his own reality means that he is never, ever culpable for it.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, even at its worst, like, you know, where he calls the cops on her because she's borrowed the car, you know.
Well, because it didn't cross his mind that, you know, maybe his wife would want to drive, you know?
Yeah. All these things happen, and whether or not he's fully aware of the fact that he's the cause of it, there is still like, I think there's probably another version again of this show where you find like you really get into the heart of who Kevin is and realize that the face that he puts on is actually a big facade as well. And underneath it, he is a scared, angry, manipulative motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, it's usually those types of personalities that use this facade of power to manipulate people because they are so weak. I think it's very important that they're spotlighting this kind of behavior and, you know, shining a light on it with the sitcom genre, saying, hey, you know, all this behavior that we've normalized for decades, maybe it's time to stop.
Yeah. Sorry, Amy in the chat just brought up the line, you know what happens when you try to be funny, because and the fact that it's fucking deadpan and just like,
it's a good mirror. Like the show is an important mirror to actually explain to the American psyche. Is like, hey, all this sitcom stuff that you've been punching out and running out as a formula for decades is actually probably undermining a fair amount of societal attitudes towards home and family units. And maybe that could be some of the problem with America.
Well, yeah, you look at that, and you know the nuclear family that we have been presented with for the past 40 odd years. You know, the father, the mother, the two kids,
the Holy Ghost.
Sorry,
the father, the mother, the Holy Ghost.
Yes. Come on, where's your fucking laugh track for yourself? Go on.
It's there.
Good, thank
it's
you.
Subtle, not like a great one.
Yeah.
Just a little giggle.
Just a titter.
Not a great pun.
But that nuclear family structure and everything has led to a belief of a normalization of terrible behavior, but also the canonization, the making into a hero of people who are willfully ignorant, who are anti-science, logic, and we're starting to fucking see that coming back to bite us in the ass. Because I guarantee you, Kevin would not wear a mask. Kevin would not be getting the vaccine.
Well, then Kevin can go and fuck himself.
I think the ultimate result of all of this is that the sitcom scenes are the darkest scenes in the entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you actually start to realize what's going on, when you watch those, it's with a whole new lens, and you're like, oh God, this guy's terrible.
And he's surrounded by a bunch of fucking enablers.
Oh, yes.
What do you mean? His dad and his neighbor? Yeah.
Yeah, the neighbor.
And then there is a character who I'm fascinated by, who is, I think, like, whilst Allison is kind of the one that we're following, there is another parallel journey that somebody is going on through this series that is equally interesting to watch, and that is Patty.
Yeah.
Like, she has got so much going on. and I
And
find
how far
it
are you in there,
fascinating.
Quinny?
Yeah, I'm
Like
episode 5, so I have
Okay.
3 more to go.
So, all right. So at least you understand why she's a little bit more interesting. And
Oh
seems
yeah,
a bit
no,
more,
yeah, that's what I mean. She got so much going on.
But does she though? I don't know.
I mean, the most interesting thing about Patty to me is that she has to go through that process of the unveiling of Kevin's behaviour and realizing that she has been complicit in it this entire time as well, and complicit in the abuse of Alison. And then I don't know if it's an episode that you're up to, Quinny, but there's kind of a moment where the curtain is lifted for her on what Kevin is, and it's when he essentially comes after her in the same way that he's been going after Alison.
I think
so
in
there's,
episode 5 they have the turn on, like they don't like Patty anymore.
Yeah.
And suddenly she's on the outer.
And I think that there's a really interesting dynamic between Alison and Patty for that reason, because Patty has had her eyes open to what's been going on and feels shame for her part in it. But also, like you said, Quinny, has a lot of shit going on in her life as well.
It's kind of like, we as the audience members take on the role of Patty, because, we have been the ones that have been complicit in this type of stereotype throughout sitcoms. We're the ones that enable studios to keep producing this slop. And, it's kind of our wake-up call to say, oh, shit, like, okay, Alison's, like, really struggling here. And for however many, years we've been involved with Kevin, like, now that we can see his behavioral patterns, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I've been wrong to be supporting this kind of person.
Because it's funny, or because it's...
Yeah, because, I was one of the guys. And then as soon as you get booted from that world, you're like, oh, shit, well, I didn't mean anything to them at all. I was just there when I was supportive of them. But, once I call them out on their bullshit, that's when, I'm out.
Yeah.
And also going through the process of starting to see Alison as a three-dimensional person and not, an extension of Kevin.
Yeah.
I find Patty interesting as well, just because of the exploration of what a person does when they are they're trying to survive. So, the decisions that she's made, but also the point where she's like, okay, well, maybe I do need to try and be normal. I need to try and fit into that, traditional shape. And I want to get married, or I want to do those things. There's a part of me that totally imagines another series or something like that, where Patty, ends up agreeing and getting married to whatever the vegetarian douche canoe was. And then her life becoming a sitcom as well. But it's a different style of sitcom because it's, with a different style of dude. I know that goes in very different directions, but I think there is a lot of Kurt, thank you. There are a lot of really interesting kind of questions as to how two different people approach the same problems.
Yeah.
Oh, should we go and have a little bit of a clip and see a bit of the show and then come back? But we know what we're supposed to do before then, aren't we?
Are we meant to rate it?
Maybe.
I hate the fact that as soon as we know there's a laugh track on, we all just smile inanely.
Yeah, for no reason. It's just like, it's not funny. This wasn't funny. Saying that we're going to rate something is not new or interesting. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Hello, ratings.
Greetings, ratings. Oh dear.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to hold off a little bit because I haven't finished it.
Okay.
So I want to see you guys and your ratings.
But wait, really, Quinny?
Yeah,
you're not going to rate it.
I feel like I can rate 5 episodes of it.
Yeah,
and
so-
I don't know whether it sticks the landing. And I mean, fuck knows, we've rated on less.
Yeah, put your money.
And we will again.
Put your money down. That's what you can do.
Okay.
You got to throw
Okay,
throw
okay,
the-
fine. If you want me to put my money down, I'll put my money down.
Yeah.
I will tell you a rating, and then
Sure.
you will go, okay. I think this was 75. Oh, okay.
No explanation necessary.
Yes. No. And to everybody in the chat, don't forget, put your ratings in there because it goes onto the website.
Yeah. You can
look, I
you
think-
can get the bell curve all fucked up if you want to put your own ratings in there.
Yes, as last week, Just Angela did.
Yeah, and that's fine.
with her love of The Witcher.
Yeah. If you want
dragging that score up by its
if you want to
bootstraps.
skew the percentages that are on the website, put your stuff in. Put your thing in it.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a really, really interesting and well-made show, and I fucking love watching Annie Murphy. I think she's incredibly watchable and
a Boston accent.
Yeah.
So much Boston.
Gotta park your car in the quad and go get wicked hammered.
Exactly. And I love their bizarre fucking fascination for Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah, I'm like, is this just a Bostonian thing?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently.
You have to love Matt Damon.
No, they don't like Matt Damon or Ben Affleck, but they love Goodwill Hunting.
How do you like them apples? Eh?
Those apples.
Yeah, damn those.
How are you liking
Jeez.
those apples? Wait, what? I don't.
Right. Dion, do
Somewhere
you have
else.
a rating?
Sure do. Look, I only don't like it because it is such a slog. Like, it's hard. Like, it's an interesting series, and I got through all the first season, and I had just a tiny problem with the end, which we'll get to. So, bit controversial, but gonna give it 60. Because I feel like it's too, as I said earlier, it's not a blend of shows. It's two distinct shows forced together. Is it really interesting television? Yes. Have they perhaps made it a bit too long? Yeah. Because I feel that the length of the episodes aren't giving me, like, there's nothing in those long episodes that is breaking any ground for me. Like, I understand every character immediately when they're in there, so there's no need for them to go through all of these processes. I don't have to go through it with them. I already get them immediately. Like, there's no complex character in this. When I see one, I'm like, yep, that's that one. Son of a bitch did the same thing. Well, that character's going to end up there. Yep, they got there.
Does
That's
the dad
okay.
ever do anything?
No.
Didn't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 60.
Okay.
Fucking magical.
I'm just laughing at all the Boston references in the chat at the moment, like the Dropkick Murphys ringtone. I'm like, yeah, spotted that one.
Where are your khakis?
What are khakis? That's what you start your car with.
No, they're what I put.
Alexa.
They're what I put on my pants. Yeah, my khakis.
The khakis.
Oh, I sat down and I heard
That
my...
Alexa gag was.
Oh,
good
the
stuff.
Alexa. Alexa.
Alexa.
Say
Anyway,
Alexa. Alexa.
someone go.
Yes.
I can't throw Peter under another fucking bus. Not twice in one podcast.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I am rating 78. Most of my points are just because I think it's such a fascinating study on TV genre. Not so much like the show itself. I feel like there are a lot of problems story-wise with the show. I agree with Dion, maybe it is a little bit too long. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of padded out inside of Annie's story, like stuff with her ex with the new restaurant in town, and maybe a lot of Patty's other side story that I don't think Quinny has hit yet.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But yeah, a lot of like the stuff about like the drug dealing and things in town. I think, I don't know, maybe it's kind of padded out and taking away from like what the real message should be about the show.
Drug dealing
But-
in a small town on an AMC show? They've never done that before.
But like, you know, if you're going to focus on a show that is so groundbreaking in what it's trying to portray, then maybe you should just kind of like stick inside that universe and make that message a little bit sharper. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens in season 2 that is being filmed. Yeah. Yeah, 78.
78. Peter.
All right.
I say Peter.
I'm struggling. This is another one of those situations where I don't know whether to rate it on quality, which is very good, or my general enjoyment of the series, which was not as high, for reasons I have mentioned. And it's a real kind of struggle there because I don't, you know, I would recommend that people watch this, particularly if you're interested in the themes and in genre play. But I had to force myself to finish it, and I didn't have as much fun with it as I wanted. And yes, Dion, the ending left me quite flat.
So what are you going to give it?
The ending, as it were, left me quite dissatisfied in the end.
Like End of Loki's dissatisfied, or?
No, different level of dissatisfied.
Okay.
68. Even then, I kind of feel bad because I feel like quality-wise, it deserves more.
I feel bad too. I gave it 60, but I was like, nah. Like, is it an amazingly well-made show and has an important message? Yes. Am I enjoying it? Not really. Gave me the shit.
Well, like honestly, okay. The reason that I got through it as much as I did is because I started watching it with my partner, and I was like, oh yeah, this could be fun. After 3 episodes, she was like, I can't watch it anymore. Like the stuff with Kevin is so fucking hard to watch. Like the story of Allison is fine, cool, whatever, but it's a shit sitcom that you kind of that is like nails down a fucking blackboard. It's really hard to watch. So
that is also what makes it really good because they nailed it. The reasons it's hard to watch is what they've actually nailed. So I kind of feel like the reason I had trouble watching it is completely on purpose and what the series is meant to achieve. Yeah. And maybe I should have rated it higher. I'm already reading.
No. Because
give it like an extra 5.
72?
Yeah, there you go.
72.
The whole show is very intentional. So I feel like every negative or other aspect you have with it, like this is too jarring or it's too long or this doesn't make sense. I think they're kind of like, yeah, right? You're like, but fuck, don't make me feel like shit. Yeah. Don't make me watch it because I'm like, I also feel it's got a little bit of the Breaking Bad with it where it probably would be better spread out, like over a longer period. Like I'd say chop them all in half and spread them out longer and drop them every week.
So like do it as the 22-minute sitcom.
Yeah.
And try and get the balance a little better, maybe.
Yeah.
That probably would have left me wanting more, actually. Dion, you fixed the show. Well done. You know what? I'm going to split the difference, and my final offer is 70.
70.
Just fucking typing.
Going once.
Reading and then typing.
Going twice. Any advance on 70.
Yes.
And sold. Excellent.
Right, well done.
Dear. All right. Do you want to go and have a look at a clip of it, and make up your own mind. If you haven't seen it, this might you might be coming.
It may sell you want it, it may not.
May not.
Great. Then since it's also your party, you get to pick up the supplies.
Get to. Okay, but if I do this, you have to behave, okay? No liquor, only beer. We have that appointment at the bank first thing tomorrow.
Hey, I'll take it easy like Sunday morning.
It's Monday morning.
What?
Huh? Just don't go crazy, okay? We need the bank guy to believe that we're the kind of people who deserve a new house.
You're not actually moving, right? This is like when you said you were going back to school.
Oh, when you wanted to go to Paris?
Yeah, we'll just kind of all pretend it's happening until you come to your senses.
Well, you and your sister are gonna have new neighbors to torture. It's happening, Neil. Oh.
I don't want you to overreact.
I'm dying inside! And outside!
I'm good.
Great.
Hey, there we go. Fuck yourself. Fuck yourself.
Hang
Oh
on.
dear.
Which way is she? Which way?
I don't know, Quinny. Pay attention. And then
Screw
you'll be
you,
able to-
Eddie Murphy.
Now
Screw
I
you.
need to turn on the spoiler logo so we can turn the spoilers now for this stuff. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a small significant problem that I have with this is that it doesn't get to any kind of fucking monkey, and I'm really disappointed in all of that.
Yeah, that was tough after pushing through it as well.
What was the like in when I was watching it, I'm going, this is definitely like Breaking Bad in the sense that, oh, it's real America, big problems, you know, those kinds of things. So I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to that. The greatest thing about Breaking Bad was they had a magnificent cold open and that you didn't understand. And then the series, each episode explained how they got to a huge just fucking thing that happens at the end.
Yeah.
The end of the cold open is the end of the cold open is the end of the first episode, actually, in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That's the brilliant thing about the first episode. You think, wow, this series is going to go to an amazing place. And I'm like, fuck, that was this episode?
Yeah. His pants are off. He's in the desert. Shit's gotten real.
Yeah. So that was what I was kind of expecting, going, this is going to be fucking interesting. Half of it is a psychotic break of a shitcom. And,
Now you got it.
hey, and then it just didn't get anywhere. Like you,
I know.
This worries me a lot because I still have those 3 fucking episodes to go, and I'm like, oh, if you're telling me that it doesn't actually get to anything like a resolution or anything, that's going to hurt.
she
me.
doesn't
But
kill
then again,
Kevin. Everyone wants Kevin to die. Everybody wants. The whole thing is like, yeah, he deserves to die because he's a piece of shit.
But then you can't have a second season, so you know.
No, and this.
And
Well,
it did.
you know, you could have the fallout from Kevin's murder in the second season, and wouldn't that be like interesting? Would they splice it with like an SVU kind of thing, like a Law and Order style? And
the stupid thing is,
That's kind of where I see the potential of it, of just going, okay, what, you know, let's look at this as a different thing to bounce off, to play against.
But, like, also, the one person that they kind of killed, or whatever, however you want to call it, the one person that does have a medical emergency, let's go that way, is someone you don't give a shit about and also doesn't do anything particularly nasty. Like, it is not someone who is definitely like, well, sucked in that happened to them. You know, it's kind of established, but I was just like, oh, well, why did you make the turn of it this character, this side character? Why didn't you?
Oh, he's upholding the patriarchy, Dion. He totally deserves it.
No, sure. Okay.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it has the same heavy consequences as if it was, you know, Kevin meeting his demise at the end of the series.
Sure. Or like, you know, what would have been great, Kevin's dad getting mistaken and being shot. And then I would have been like, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm down for this. I want to see Kevin's dad get shot.
Okay.
Amazing. But they don't do it.
I'm enjoying aspects of it, and I had a real weird moment where a character walks into a scene, and I was like, "Huh?" And when the Penguin from Gotham walks into the fucking scene, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here, Robin? Looking not like a penguin?"
No. Very blonde.
Which is actually closer to the hair color I remember.
I do like Blue MM in the chat is like, yes, but does he fuck himself? Does Kevin fuck himself? And it's like, we don't know.
Oh dear.
We never got to see. And I'm not sure anyone wants to see.
No.
Because he's
here's a question. Will you go back for season 2?
Yeah.
I feel like I will now because I feel so dissatisfied. By I kind of got to the end of season 1 and be like, wait, is that it? There no more episodes? Surely not. I feel like to pay off the commitment that I've already put into it, I'm going to need to watch a season 2.
I mean, I'm just scared this is going to be another Falling Skies, and I can't do that again. I can't. It's not right. You've got to show something, or it's going to be 5 seasons of me going, maybe this season they'll do it. No, fuck you.
This season is the one that Kevin will die.
Fuck you bastards.
He's so angry. So good.
There's one thing, a Spielberg Noah Wiley television series that I was fucking excited for, and then I was like, all these actors are good.
Nobody likes the first 2 seasons of that.
Fuck off! It was terrible. The climactic battle in the end of the first season was done off camera. Off camera.
Because Dion, it was about the people, not
the
about
main
the
character
battles.
turns up to the battle late. And it's like one burning can and a car on fire, and that was the climactic end to the Fuck this.
Where's that sound effect? Come on.
Wait.
No, that's not a laugh. That's an ooh.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh. There we are. Yeah.
We need that audience track that's like the ooh.
Oh God, yeah, I probably do have those things here somewhere.
It's okay, Dion. We know that you only had a certain amount of time to organize all of the laugh tracks.
Yeah, you got your Seinfeld music. Shut up. It wasn't the same thing from Black Widow, the Nirvana cover.
Thank you for moving on.
I can put that.
I'm not always late. I'm just.
You're just always late.
Quinny arrives precisely when he intends to. 5 minutes before we start.
To come back to that thing that I reminded myself to talk about.
Sorry,
earlier.
I just love that the chat's like, sorry, what was Dion so angry?
Anyway,
Just
here's why Falling Skies. It's going to be one of those things I'll be doing a Jean-Claude Van Damme retrospective and be like, no, today we're talking about Falling Skies.
I was going to say that maybe we need to do this. We need to do a Friday night where we go back and reassess Falling Skies.
Fuck this bullshit. And the 5 seasons of it, that was shit. Anyway, the thing that I want to talk about, the only thing that could get me back to watching season 2, which is of this, is if they did a really good narrative shift and then suddenly started telling the side of it from Kevin's side. Ooh. And it all became his reality and her idea of a sitcom. Like she was a sitcom person. And then, yeah, that could be an interesting narrative flip.
Harridan wife who's always berating him. And
yeah, she could be the Peggy out of Married with Children. And he's just the put upon.
So you want the MRA version of this show, basically.
That's like every show.
I'm not sure that we want it, but I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's
explore it.
I'm not sure that we should. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make Kevin a sympathetic character here. No way.
We do not need more sympathetic villain stories.
No, the second season could be interesting just told from that perspective. He could still be a piece of shit, you know, but it's more about him.
I feel like his perspective on her life would, you know, maybe be something, I don't know, like a Sex in the City or Desperate Housewives kind of style show, you know, because like he doesn't think much of his wife, to be honest. I don't think she'd get the sitcom treatment. I think she'd get the, oh, well, you know, women are all la-dee-da and like this is probably what she thinks her world is like, you know. I'm the breadwinner. I bring home the money and, you know, I take care of her and she takes it all for granted. And
yeah,
like,
well,
I think he has like a warped perspective of what her life would be, I feel.
Though, yeah, I mean, in a way, the way that you read it, Jill and Peter, and I think is probably the right way, we're seeing Kevin's perspective on it. Yeah. Like we're already seeing the Kevin version
the sitcom
of
is
life.
His perspective.
It'd be interesting if like she tries to kill him or something like that, and he then wises up to it, that his reality shifts, so it turns into a different kind of sitcom. Like,
so. Sorry, Quinny. I was going to say that's what I'm kind of interested in. Is there has been a reality shift for? Oh, Quinny doesn't know this. There has been a reality shift for the friend character. And that was the one thing that did interest me about the end is that, and he's such an inconsequential character, I can't even remember his name.
Neil.
Neil. that in the very, the very, very end, it seems that he is now experiencing a dark perspective, and I'm interested in seeing how that plays out, how the dynamic with his sister plays out, the fact that, block your ears a little bit, Quinny, he was a little bit trying to kill Alison for a second there. And that's a dark moment for a character that we've all basically written off as being a kind of useless character. And I think that there's probably a lot more going on there and more material for them to mine. So I am interested, even if it's just because I want a bit more payoff than I got in the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just sort of like, I want there to be a redemption or a comeuppance or something that's going on in the show. And the first season didn't give me any of that. So I was just kind of like, I know that Alison isn't, she's not like a perfect person, but also she's just had shit hung on her for so long. So you understand all of her motivations. But right now I'm just like, yeah, Kevin can go fuck himself. But can we just see some of that happen? Because at the moment he's still living his sitcom life, and that gives me the shit.
Yeah.
I don't like watching things where it's like, yeah, and the bully continued doing this forever. It's like, oh God, right, okay. The bully moved on to the next person to bully.
Yeah,
they're not the lessons
I like
you want to
the
learn.
idea that, and I feel like the producers and everybody are going to be smart enough to realize you can't do the same thing again. Like, I don't think you can keep doing the same shtick for 2 seasons and expect it to work. So I'm sure that there will be a shift. I'm just hoping it's towards something really interesting, and because this is a show that doesn't work if it's just the drama. If it's just the single camera drama thing, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It has to, like, structurally has to be something that it is in intention with. So what is that? I don't know. Difficult.
I mean, in terms of some interesting stuff, like one of the interesting creators of the show is Rashida Jones.
Well,
from Parks and Recreation.
Yep.
Quinny, you've seen Parks and Recreation. Tell us her role in that one.
Oh, but that's none of my business.
Yes. But she's executive producer on it, so that's kind of a cool. It's a different kind of comedy, really, isn't it? It's like some creative people are doing a different kind of comedy. And you kind of laugh at it because you're supposed to. Like you said, the music comes on and we all like, hey, funny jokes and, peppy stuff. And it's like, oh, wow, that was a terrible message that we're telling people in this. It's not funny. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm also just realizing that there are 2 Rashida Jones. One is another producer and writer and so forth. So I was kind of like,
oh, so which one worked on the show?
This one.
It says
actress
the actor.
Or
Hey.
Sorry, I'm just trying to hunt that up.
You can go right ahead, Quinny.
Might be a
Quick
mistaken
chat,
identity.
research for us.
Yeah. So there's another Rashida Jones who is producer of a thing called Paper and Glue, but I don't think that's her.
Oh well.
Sorry,
Who'd have think there was 2
we're leaving
Rashida
you with a
Joneses
mystery.
in the world.
Yeah.
Well, Quinny can go fuck himself.
Wow. Yeah. No, I look, I think I remember watching the trailer and thinking, gee, that's an interesting concept. I really want to see how they explore it. It's just a shame that it was so fucking difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Were there any of the subplots towards the end of the series that didn't work for you? Like
all of them. I didn't give a shit.
So the drug dealing thing.
They did it in Breaking Bad, and the drug dealing thing seems to resonate with American people. And we need to talk about OxyContin and that problem.
Well, yeah, it's actually a huge problem in America. So
it used to be. Now they've gotten fined. And
we've already got like one storytelling feature, do we need to like go into a whole thing about the opioid epidemic in America as well? And then you've got like Patty's exploration on her sexuality is like another thing.
But I like that. That was interesting.
Yeah, but I'm like, what story are you trying to tell in this show?
Sure. Yeah, just focus on
who's your hero, and you know, what do they have to say?
Yeah, just focus on and Allison's story, because of herself trying to find out how. And they're doing quite a good job of that, like, you know, of finding out how difficult is it to do something like leave your abusive husband.
Yeah,
in
I'm
America.
not even sure I'm fully on board with like her affair either.
No, I thought
that was a thing where I was like, oh, okay.
I thought that was
I mean, if you're trying to give a woman power and agency in, you know, taking control of her own story, why is she doing it with another man?
And she should have done it with the sleazy mechanic guy if she was really rebelling and going
I'm like,
through all of that.
why is her wake up call and her you know, her point of, you know, reckoning on what her life could have been like at the hands of another man? Like, I feel like it's a female empowerment story, and yet we're relying on the men in her life that are dictating what she wants.
Yeah.
Yes, I also do think that it's an interesting thing to write a character and make sure that that character is fleshed out with flaws and you know, morally questionable decisions as well. Like, she is somebody who's trying to re-empower themselves and find their own self, and is capable of making some very bad decisions along the way that are actually going to hurt other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing to not write, because it'd be real easy to write Annie Allison as, you know, 100% pure and perfect.
Oh yeah, and I mean, she does have her problems, and I really feel like the exploration of her her stealing is a good thing to, you know, explore as a fault. I mean, like, she takes Kevin's packages of like stupid memorabilia that he wastes his money on. She shoplifts lipstick, like, I don't know,
and did that even before she'd really made the decisions that things were that bad, like, you know. So yeah, I mean,
I feel like
morally,
there's a good character exploration going on there. I just feel like you know, having the ex-boyfriend coming back into the picture is maybe a bit superfluous.
Do we?
I think that what that kind of gave her in the end is her moment where she gets to say, you know what, no, you know, this isn't about your vision of who I can be. It's about my vision of who I want to be. So I did, in the end, feel like that had a reason, I guess, for being in that moment. You know, you're presenting her with a better alternative to Kevin. And ultimately, she has to choose that it's not about an alternative to Kevin, actually, at all.
Yeah, not wanting to get away from any of that though. Do you agree that it's a little bit like how would you feel being Kevin James in this situation? Because, you know, he is kind of based on his television show, which was King of Queens, but also the one that failed after a while called Kevin Can Wait, which was pretty much the same sort of sitcom thing. And they fridged the wife after the first season and replaced her
really?
with they had it's called Kevin Can Wait. You can go and look it up. It was only a couple of years ago, and they didn't react well to his retired police officer sitcom with
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
kind of, yeah, but like. He was married to his wife for the first season, and then she died, and then his old wife from King of Queens became his new wife, and it's like, you're just trying, like, you know. I think there seems to be a point there where the people making Kevin Can Fuck Himself watch that sitcom and were like, sitcoms are terrible, they're over. Let's make something that fucks up a sitcom, because this thing is just, you know, it's like, well, my the wife wasn't rating well, so she died anyway. Let's focus on this.
Yeah. The other birds escaped from Scientology. Let's bring her back.
Yeah. Has anyone ever truly escaped from Scientology?
A whole other podcast.
I do want to say, Eric Peterson, the guy who plays Kevin.
Shrek.
Yeah. Okay, Shrek.
That's not being rude. He plays Shrek in Shrek the Musical. Did you not know this? Did you not do?
Well, now I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh god, he does.
You're like, yes, he plays Shrek in Shrek the Musical.
Okay.
Which is actually makes a whole lot more sense in the character. Like, I like the character more now that I know. It's like, we need someone to play Shrek. That guy. Yeah, all right.
The one that looks like a toad.
Yeah. Well, I find him astonishing because he is doing perfect sitcom acting. Like, they all are. He is, absolutely nailing that as the sitcom, the obnoxious
POS
motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I said it last time we were talking about it, that he is channeling Rodney Dangerfield. Like, it's same look, same fucking attitude, same everything. And I'm like, oh God, like somebody, he's got a job if they're ever going to make a Rodney Dangerfield biopic, and I fucking hope they don't.
No,
but
they
yeah,
need to glorify him.
He's good at being awful.
Yeah.
I really want to meet him just to find out that he's not a terrible, terrible human.
Who, the guy that plays Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I'm looking at him dressed up in makeup as Shrek, and I can't see any makeup. Like, it's flawless.
No prosthetics whatsoever.
No prosthetics. Just fed him some bad shrimp to get him looking a bit green, and he's done.
Oh.
Stage ready. No, it's not fair. I mean, he's like, everyone is doing a great job of being terrible. And I think it's very hard to create a situation where people are intentionally doing that, like to have that kind of a visceral reaction.
Oh God, I just looked at the photo.
It's
oh my God, I'm gonna have nightmares now. Why did I click that link?
But now you're gonna see that in the show. You're gonna watch him on there and just see that Shrek from the musical and be like,
gross.
Now imagine him with a shitty Scottish accent.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. And Amy, yes, it probably takes a very secure person. And one can only hope somebody who is very, very woke and aware of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you could play that part if you weren't aware of how much you were being hated.
Yeah.
Yes. I apologize to everybody. I'm so sorry that I put the link in the chat. Everybody seems like they're having a bad time with the Shrek.
Oh
dear. Very bad.
It's funny because like when I was doing research for tonight's show, I was looking for like other people's dissections of it on YouTube and stuff. And I found like this weird glamorous headshot of this guy. And I'm like, oh, he's still not attractive. Like you can put him in like high contrast lighting with like designer stubble and hair gel. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, dude, you're an ugly guy.
I think they refer to those people as unique.
I'm sure that's in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not, because I just clicked back onto that link of the fucking Shrek.
And you know what? Maybe I'd choose the Beholder, which is a D&D reference.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Anyway. Oh, good.
What we really need is a D&D sitcom.
Yeah. Well, we could be getting one. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Let's mash them all together. A D&D procedural crime drama. Law and Order.
Forrest has not heard of designer stubble.
Law and Order special dice roll unit.
And the more images I see of him, like,
oh no,
yeah, like you're right. None of them are a good-looking dude. He's born to be schlubby.
Yeah, I feel like he's taking a particular kind of role that leans into
my
his
kind of role
as well, which is
I should be that.
Well, yeah, like let's not be ungenerous to. I'm looking through the IMDb pictures now as well. He does seem to, take the schlubby roles, which would mean that there are probably lots of schlubby looking pictures of him because
Okay, this is just going to become our. I feel like we're doing a live version of Fashion Critical. We're just like, oh no, what are you wearing? You know?
Yeah, let's not get mean.
Christ on a bustler, what have you come as?
There's no reason for that.
Yeah, true.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Um,
there you go. We'll finish off with.
Yeah, I've
an
just
image.
chucked an image. That was the one that I was talking about.
look,
The designer stubble, for those
Yep,
who don't
yep.
know what that is.
And for some reason, yours was actually removed.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, fuck you.
Well, Quinny, you've got the band hammer. I have no access to that thing. What? Well, no, that was Kevin can fuck himself. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back for a second fucking. But what's coming up?
That's a very good question,
Well,
Dion,
I
and I
think
don't have a
Dion
list
said
in front of
before
me.
we got online, and it's none of your business on Friday, which I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I'm back.
Oh, that's right.
I got to come up with a theme song for None of Your Business.
I mean, I hope everyone else has done the homework because I've had to read a lot of Narnia now, and I'm not sure how I feel about it anymore.
I did read the Problem with Susan bit, and I was very weirded out by the cunnilingus in that story. But that's a thing for Friday.
Find out more in
Wow. Well,
Friday.
I'll be joining in on that.
Friday evening cunnilingus with None of Your Business.
This is not the Narnia I was expecting.
Well, you should fucking read the short story then.
Is this all about the magic rings of
magic
No,
rings?
it's the Neil Gaiman short story about the Problem with Susan.
Oh,
Goodness
okay,
me.
right. I
Yeah.
thought that we were actually in like traditional Narnia, and I was like, fucking, I missed that.
Oh
bit.
wow, no, that was like some real subtext. If I found that in the real Narnia stories.
So
Like, you were looking into the deep magic there.
last time you did None of Your Business, what did you talk about? You talked about, was it Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, or was it just...
Yeah,
Yeah,
we talked
so-
about that and its different movie iterations, and
Oh, yeah,
now
the
we're going
versions of it.
further into the deep dive of like all of the content we haven't seen in media. That's just in the books and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
and like analyzing poor old Susan. You've got pretty rough trot.
Oh. Oh, that's great. Another woman being treated badly.
Yeah.
In film. And then after that, next week, another season of things to watch. It's Kung Fu.
Oh, it's Kung Fu. Yeah, I've been
shit.
watching it.
I am looking forward to snatching pebbles from people's hands.
Is that a euphemism for something I don't understand?
Yeah, but I'm not going to explain it to you because you're too young. Yeah, so None of Your Business on Friday, and then Kung Fu. There's your week of catch up homework.
I'm excited because the first couple of episodes of Why the Last Man have shown up, and I'm that's for the week following, and I'm very interested in seeing.
Yeah, we're giving that a breath.
I know,
aren't
we're
we,
giving
this
that
time?
some space.
Rather than just going, well, the first episode of Why the Last Man was not good enough, and so the whole season is ruined. Good day, sir.
Yeah, we don't need another Orville.
Yeah, that would be really awful.
Hey,
Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Hey.
finally got
That's all
one.
I needed.
Doc Forest, yes, it is actually a reboot of the old David Carradine Kung Fu. Yeah, I'd say it's a more woke version
Mm.
It
with
wouldn't be
actual
hard to be
Asian
all-
people.
Right. Wouldn't be hard to be more woke than actual David Carradine.
It's busy coming out. Like, I'm hoping that people can go and get jabbed so that we're allowed out and can go and see fucking Shang-Chi.
My
No
last
spoilers.
jab
Oh.
next Monday, guys.
Yeah! Woo!
Yes. Only got a
Okay.
week to go.
But until then, you can still watch some Why the Last Man. But I think Peter would be quite excited to know that season 3 of Sex Education comes out on Friday.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm super excited because the new other He-Man comes out on Thursday.
The rest of He-Man. Is it He-Man Part 2 or the...
No,
Oh,
no, this
the
is
kitty one.
the
The
new
kids one.
kitty He-Man that everyone's like,
Yeah. And yes, everyone's wanting to see June. Yeah. But we're...
Yeah.
I can't... I'm not sure I want to. I want to wait. I kind of want to wait.
you
I
want
only
to
wanna
you want to
watch
wait
it.
for both of them.
Yeah.
I only want to see it for Timothy Chalamet and
Apparently does
and
fuck all
Zendaya.
in it.
That's all. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I'm worried because
Attractive
a heap
children.
of shit has been delayed. So Atsuki's saying it got delayed till early December. A whole bunch of shit has been delayed till early December, including Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and Bond,
Yeah.
and Dune, but not necessarily in America. So a whole bunch of
Those
shit is going to be opening over there, and yeah,
Back
we're
to the
gonna
good
be
old-fashioned
either going,
days.
do I avoid the nasty piratey, torrenty things, or do I not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, we're
Torrent
back.
now, pay later. I don't know.
See, the thing is, I would have been perfectly happy to have paid money for Shang-Chi, but they have
Yes.
made the decision to go, no, we're doing it in cinemas only. And the same with Eternals, is cinemas only for 45 days. And it's like, cool, great. Okay, well, however many million people in Australia, in Victoria and New South Wales, which isn't, a huge market, I know, but for them here in Australia, I imagine they're looking at their profit margins going, well, fuck.
Even then, I'm not super keen to go out there into into an enclosed space with a bunch of other people from the
Well,
public.
you know
to be
what?
like,
If they're only letting vaccinated people in, I'd be fine.
yeah, but when's the last
Yeah.
time they cleaned their air conditioners?
Oh, no, this is getting into like a whole. How much time do we have here, guys?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. We can do that.
And yes, of course, there are a bunch of people very excited about the Hawkeye trailer that came out this
Oh,
morning.
you mean Rogers the Musical, the TV show?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely fine. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh my God, I've been hyper-analyzing just that one little clip. There's already a theory that Chris Evans is playing the Thor in the musical.
What?
And like from the one little zoomed in clip from the trailer, I'm like, I'd be on board with that. There's something in the eye area, like the brow, that's kind of like giving me Chris Evans
As long as Matt
vibes.
Damon's playing Loki, that's fine.
He did say at one point, "Hey, I'll come back if I get to play Thor or something." And I think Disney were like, "I'm sorry, what?"
We know you were joking, but we have these dump trucks of money.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see.
Yes.
In my big long Marvel rewatch, I rewatched Ragnarok last night.
I fucking love that movie.
Fuck me, that is a powerfully good film.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched it.
I've only watched it like once in the cinema.
And 4 times at the cinema.
Right.
And like that's on par with the first Avengers movie for me. The cinema.
I was just looking at it going, holy shit, this is just doing so much. It covers so much ground. And like, I remember being vaguely disappointed going, oh, they didn't really do Ragnarok right. I was expecting the big wolf of Fenris, going across the sky and rah. And then I rewatched it. I was like, oh no, they did. Yeah, right. I just had different expectations, and it was a lot funnier than I remembered, but so good. So fucking good.
Oh dear. All right. Well, that's been fun. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone in the chat. You're all a bunch of lovely people. Please tell other people to come and join in on Tuesday, and we will talk at them about our opinions and such. And also, chuck a rating in so that Quinny can do math.
Yes, this booty do math.
Tucked in, Quinny. Sure. You booty do math. I'm going to go head off now. That's it. Party over.
We're all going. Bye-bye.
We are all going.
We're all going to go.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys and girls and non-binary pals on Friday for None of Your Business. Yes. I have been Quinny.
I've been Dion.
I've been Jill.
I've been Peter.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. See, power girl keep staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. With martial arts from iron fist and wall, I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live restaurant now. I wanna yell, out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. They'd have a frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours.